So in this video tutorial, we'll be looking at the SendMail class. So to begin with, we'll go to the right click and then we view the code behind for the form.cs design. And you can see there's pretty much not much of code here. So we will begin by creating of our SendMail class. So to do that, just come here. Then you say public static void SendMail, and void there means it is not returning anything. So like that. Then from here we'll need a couple of variables. So the first variable will be the amount, which we'll use to check in the database, and we initialize it to 0. Then we'll have the date time, current date is equals to date time now. Then we need a user ID. So user ID, again you initialize that to 0. Then we need a counter, also that initialized to 0. So having that now, we now come and make a connection. So we say string constring is equals to configuration manager, and this one you need to import it. So to import it, first we need a reference. So right click on the project, then go to add, and then say reference, then look for system.configuration. It's here. So add this, click OK. Now if you come here, so this system using system.configuration, then you shall say dot connections strings. Then the connection string will be default connection, the one we specified in the config class connection dot connection string. Then now you say using SQL connection. So using this class, import it. Then here just say con is equals to new. So creating an object to the SQL connection. Then it should read from this constraint like that. Sorry. So copy this constraint like that. Then open parentheses. Then here you'll say using SQL command cmd is equals to new SQL command. Now this one will hold the actual query that we want to request from the database. So you can see my database as per now here. It has the name, email, phone, amount, date. For this tool, we'll pretty much work with the email because it will be an email alert, but we can still work with the phone if you want an SMS alert, maybe in a later tutorial. So here you'll now say select ID, email, phone, amount. You don't have to select all, but I'm just doing it for the sake. date time. Then you'll say from the table you save. The table is called user, it's called user details. And then from here, make this. Then I say cmd dot command type is equals to command type dot text cmd dot connection is equals to the connection specified there. That. Then now we open the connection. This means it's giving us access to be able to now query the database. Then now we want to return a list of what it selects from the database. So here we are creating an object for list. So list that, and it's a list of string array, and here I just gave it a name for employees, but you can give it a meaningful name, especially if it is code that will be referenced maybe in the future. But this is just for demo list. So this is an object for string that. Then next we say using SQL adapter, data adapter, no, SQL data reader, SQL data reader is equals to cmd dot execute reader. So here it means it will now execute that which it has selected. To execute means now it's able to fetch the data and return it. And once it does so, we want to loop through all of the records that are fetched. So it means it will loop through all, to select all of these, and it should loop and assign them to variables. So to do that, we'll use a while loop. So while SQL data reader dot read okay. So you're saying string is equals to fields string, so return the array of strings and place them into this object for the array string. That. So it is returning 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it will return the ID, email, phone, the name, even though I forgot the name here. So we should have the phone, then name. So that's the essence of the 6 that you're seeing there. So return for me the 6 for each record and store them into variables. So next we have this field string, an array of string. So the field will be an array to hold 6 characters. So the first one will be, so we say field like that. So the first an array starts from 0, so we shall have that, and then we shall say SDR. So here we'll have ID, then you say dot to string. So this one should be in double quotes. That. So from here you can just copy and paste 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here it will be 1, then 2, 3, 4, 5. So after ID we have email. After email we have phone. After phone we have name. After name we have amount. After amount we have the date time. So date time like that. So once you've done that, we now add each of the records that have been assigned to the variables. So each record will be assigned the variables. Then we feed them into like a component that holds all the records that have been fetched. Because from the query we are fetching all records from the user details table. So to do that, we now say employees dot add, then we say fields. So all the records will be added to the employee list that we created here initially. So once you've done that, once we've looped through all the records within the table, it's now time to loop through each record and send an email individually assigned to the specific records, because we are looking at the date and the amount. So if the amount is greater than a certain value and the date that is within the database is not the current date now, then the mail should be sent. So that's why you want to look through each record and ensure that the condition is met before we can send the email. So to do that, we use the for each loop like that. So item in employees like that. And then so we now say amount is equals to convert. We convert the amount to double because it's coming as a string. So remember the amount here is so the amount here, you can see the amount here is a string, so we need to convert it to double. To do that, you say convert dot to double, then it would be item 4. Okay, and then the current date, again we convert it to date time, so is equals to convert to date time item 5. Okay, next we have user ID, convert it to string, convert to int 32. It is item 0 like that. And then having done that, now we come with the condition. We say if the amount is greater than or equal to 40,000, and so it means both of these conditions have to be met. And if the current dot date is not equal to date time dot now. So here, if I'm saying this one is in the current date, this one is assuming the date plus the time. But if I add the date, I just want the date part itself. So if the amount is above 40,000 and the current date is not equal to the date as at now, then it means send out the email. So to do that, so it will be SQL connection. So first it will update so that the condition is not met again, so that the email is not sent continuously. So is equals to new SQL connection. Then we use the const string that we declared earlier on, like that. Then we say dataset is equal to new dataset that. And then we say con update. We open the connection, and then date time is equals to date time dot now. So we want to update the date to the current date, the date as at that time. Then we say SQL command cmd update is equals to new SQL command. Then from there we add the update statement. So update user details, then set date time equals to, then here single quotes and then double quotes, then we add the plus. So it should take this and put it here like that, where ID. So we're using an ID to identify specific rows, because we don't want to update all records, just to be the specific rows that are being targeted. So we're saying where ID equals to that, then plus user ID, the one we converted to integer earlier on. Then we close that like that. Then we say cmd update dot connection is equals to con update is equals to cmd is equals to con update like that, and then cmd update dot execute null query like that. Then having done that, we will come here now and say string email so string email is equals to so this is the test mail I'm using for Gmail, because based on the research done, the Google requires that you're able to authenticate the email you're using as a valid available email account, as one that is acceptable within the SMTP server for Gmail. So that's why I'm using mine. So I'll say test at gmail.com, which you can just, by the way, you can go create your own to use for tests. Then you say if string dot is null or empty email. So we want to ensure that the email is not empty in any way. So it should return, meaning it should not execute. Then here now, else it should try this. So try and catch. So within the try, that's where now we put the email body to be sent out. So these formats, you can get them online. And again, to save on time, I just pick the one I found online and modified them to suit this tutorial. So you just come here and paste it here. And of course, if you download this, you'll find it is within the link shared. So here we import the mail class. So here you're creating a mail class, then adding the email that I've specified above. Then here it is the email address from, and this is the email body. Then you're using the SMTP host from Gmail, which requires the credentials for the test email being used. So you can see this is the email and this is the password. And you can see you have to use the valid credentials. So if this mail is not having the valid password, the Gmail will refuse. Then also it requires that you enable SSL, and from there the email is placed within the SMTP for being sent out. So then here for a catch, you just say exception xe, then here we just say xe message. I think we can just leave this for now, because I'm sure based on the test we'll do, but here you can include a catch for an exception in case it finds that some of the details above here are not okay, then something should happen. So from there now we close the connection. So I'm just trying to ensure that I don't. So that is the amount, and then so at this point, then you just say con dot close. So to close the connection like that. So that is the mail class. You can see it's not that difficult. That. So I'm seeing an exception above here. Let me just see. So it should actually be here. So cut this out, that, and place it here like that. So to format this code, just go to edit, then say advanced, then advanced format selection like that. So rearrange the code. So that is all about the mail class. So this is the one we'll call to send out the email, and it will be after the conditions within the database have been met, in that the date is not the same as today's date, and that the amount we are targeting is 40,000. So thank you for watching.